are already being burned. Wisdom, for example, has just eaten through a health pod, which is not an ideal situation to be in only 3 minutes into lane.
But he does have plenty to, munch his way through, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. And he does obviously have the passive from his item, the relic shield, which will also give him and Toast a little bit of health back every time he last hits a minion, whenever that is up. So, meanwhile, we do see Nutri moving very sneakily up in the top lane. I wonder whether or not he's going to be able to get Tundra this lead, because in all honesty, we really haven't seen Nutri come top very often during this series. We've seen him hang around middle and around bottom, but meanwhile, Alfari...
Oh, the cocoon whiffs, but Alfari still flashes. That's kind of surprising. I actually think that was probably worth it from Nutri, even though he missed the cocoon.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. I mean, the best case scenario in that situation was, well, to get a kill, but I mean, the second best scenario was to get a flash out, and I mean, he misses the cocoon, but still manages to get the flash, so I would argue definitely a good trade there for FM, which means that now Alfari might be in a bit of a dangerous position, but meanwhile, in this bottom lane, we can definitely see a big engage from our fan.
Oh, that was a really nice combo into the wall. With the headbutt, he actually did a small stun because he hit him into the wall, and he didn't travel the full distance, so he chained together a really long CC there. Very nice job in the bot lane. Memento, he is behind. I don't think he's really got the potential to go for a gank behind the bot lane of FM at the moment, though. He is just going to back on out. Great tunnels, though, are good for him. Charlie T with a nice charm in the middle, but he still gets cocooned. Ooh. That resulted in about half of his health getting taken away instantly. You cannot get CC'd in that lane.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to back off. He's got no mana, there's no real way for him to wave clear, and you can already see the pressure coming out from Ziviz. You know, I did say early on that Charlie T on that Ari should have an advantage over Vlad, but apparently that's not going the way that I predicted, but Ziviz...
Oh, he dodges out the knockup from Memento perfectly with the Sanguine Pool. Really, really nice job there. Could have gone badly, but this is what I'm talking about, you know. There's a lot of escapabilities on the side of FM. They're doing a good job of curbing the early aggression so far.
They definitely are. I mean, if anything, what I want to say, the scariest lane is top lane, and we can already see Memento heading that way, but Tundra doing a good job of baiting it.
Yeah, he's baiting it into Nutri. I don't know if they knew that Memento was coming up too, though. That is a lot of burst damage. Tundra, he is the first to go down, though. Can Memento survive this? It looks like it. And that is an early start, an early lead over to Infused. Prey Seeker, it hits! One more attack would be enough to kill Nutri, but they don't have it. Unless Memento can get that cooldown down, it doesn't look like he can. Very close down to the wire fight in the top lane, but Infused, as she wrote the team comp, starting off ahead.
Tundra's TPing in the top lane, though. He does have flash available.
Oh, he snipes it out. Alfari, though, fighting in the middle of this wave, could put a lot of damage back onto Tundra, and he does. Tundra is already very low after getting into lane. Without any mana, though, Alfari won't have the potential to go for a kill, so not a bad trade at all for Tundra. Got to admire him for coming back from a bad situation.
Yeah, but you also have to recognize Memento overstaying, and this is something that we mentioned. Infused may well be a little bit known for overstaying, being a little bit too greedy. I understand that Memento tried to help Alfari push the lane back out, but it ended up in costing a return kill. So, unfortunate for Memento, but very useful and great for Tundra really to be able to get a kill back in that lane. And now he has completed his Hex Drinker, which is definitely going to be a very valuable item against this Maokai in the top lane.
Yeah, obviously Maokai doing a lot of magic damage is going to be nice to have that resist against him, but also, if you look across the board, you've got some magic damage coming out of Corki, you got magic damage out of Charlie T, of course. It is going to be a really useful item all game long.
It is indeed. So, meanwhile, we do see Memento again hanging around the top side, and this is something that Memento is used to. We've talked about it a lot during today's cast, that Memento does like to hang around and help out Alfari in the top lane. We do see him hanging around, though. Alfari goes in.
Yeah, Tundra, he doesn't have a Meganar nearby, but Memento, that is a long-distance tunnel across the wall there. Without flash up, he is not going to be able to follow it up, however. He's got to back out of there. No flash for him. Nutri as well, dissuading him. Memento knows that Nutri's here. He might go for a kill, actually. Here we go. That's a lot of damage. Cocoon comes out. Nutri's turnaround is pretty high damage, too. This is a close fight between the two of them. Chilling smites used on either side, but Memento gonna have to back on out of there. No support from Alfari was able to get there in time.
Yeah, that's really impressive from Nutri to be able to get out of that situation. You could see both Arfan and Alfari collapsing in on Nutri, and if he decided to stay there and pick that fight, he definitely would have lost his life. So nice decision making from Nutri, and good decision to get out when he could. Meanwhile, in the top lane,
oh, Alfari is getting dunked on by Tundra at the moment, but with Meganar running out, he's got to be a little bit careful. Now Tundra, he's turning around onto a Memento, comes in from behind, a great bait. I rate 8 out of 8. Tundra goes down, mate.
He does indeed. Very difficult for me to follow up onto that level of mateness, but nevertheless, they do succeed in picking up another kill onto Tundra. I feel bad for this guy because all that happens is Infused puts so much pressure into this top lane, and it's been gank after gank after gank, and unfortunately, all you can see is on the rest of the lanes, CS advantage in the bottom lane. CS advantage in the favor of Civ is in the mid, but that's okay, because as long as Charlie T isn't dying, he's still going to be relevant as the game goes on. Meanwhile, Polk might be caught out of position.
Yeah, it does have to use that Valkyrie to get around the massive trophy that suddenly materialized in the middle of the lane, but I don't know. Oh, Toaster, you gotta be careful trading with Polk, man. He does a lot of burst damage.
But so does Toaster. I mean, he's decided, it does look like he's going to go for the tier build and head towards that Mana Mune. Will eventually build into Muramana. So I guess he loves the tier kind of champions, rather spellcaster AD carries rather than the classic, you know, AD carry. But we will have to see. It obviously means that Ezreal is going to take a little while to scale up. But that sort of fits in with their comp. They do have a very strong late game composition. If he went for the Trinity Force, he would have had a very similar power spike to that of Polk. But by going for the tier, he has decided to delay his power spike, and that will obviously come a lot later. I do wonder whether or not it does look like he's going to rush that Mana Muni. Meanwhile, Wisdom going a bit aggressive onto Polk.
There's a lot of poke damage going down onto him, but Wisdom might have stepped a little too far out of bounds, has to burn that ultimate in order to get out of there. Subjugate is going to heal him up quite nicely, but now Memento, knowing the ultimate's down, knowing he wants to go in, is going to come to the tunnel. Nutri's here as well. We've seen this a lot this series. Lots of counter ganks in the bot lane. True Shot Barrage comes across all three, and both teams decide to back on out of there. Too risky to keep on fighting. Lots of action in the bot lane.
Yeah, there was no mana on Arfan and no mana on Memento, obviously, but they decided not to chase onto that fight and rather disengage, which means that no action, well, lots of action happening in the bottom lane, but no trades. Meanwhile, flash in the mid.
What a flash cocoon on Charlie T. He is down for the count. Nutri picking that one up. Top lane, Memento coming around the backside yet again. Tundra is really struggling with all the pressure being put up here, but this time he's got teammates rotating up to help him. Can they get there? Meanwhile, on the bot lane, look at that poke on a Toaster. Tundra's going to be able to get out, but Toaster trying to chase onto Polk at the moment with his missing shots. Toaster, he's low! One more auto would be enough. Flash forward. Polk picks it up. Very nice kill there for Infused bot lane.
Yeah, Toaster making a bit of a miscalculation there. He did have his flash available, but decided not to use it and hands a kill over to Polk. Now, that's going to be really bad for the side of Infused because Polk now has his Trinity Force completed. So he's going to be hitting that power spike already at 12 minutes, and that's not going to be looking good for the side of Infused. Sorry, I think I've done my math a little bit wrong. Yeah, I unfortunately have. So he's very close to his Trinity Force, but not quite there just yet. But definitely on his next back, he will have that. So he should have it around the 15-minute mark, which is prime time for that first Drake. So Infused definitely in a good position, using their comp the way they need to and looking to force these objectives coming into the mid-game.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to see from them. Right now, though, we got a lot of pressure coming up to the top lane. The ward in the river bush will spot it out if they decide to go around, but I think Infused is aware of it. They're trying to wait until the last second to go in. Memento gonna close that gap very quickly with the tunnel. Now they're going in. Combo coming across on the tunnel, but he flashes out of it. There's Memento. He wants to keep this party going. Flashes under, gets the knockup, but where's the damage? There simply is none. and Tundra gets on out of there. Meanwhile, with Arfan being up in the top lane, this is the go signal for the bottom lane of FM to try and take the first tower. Nutri is rotating up top as well, so we're not even going to see the return kill from Infused. To be honest, VDS, I think this early game isn't going as well as Infused would like it to.
No, they definitely started well, but they've been putting so much pressure onto Tundra that they've actually basically